So yet again, we've been completely bombed over. There's no other way of saying this. This isn't a video I honestly expected to be doing. I honestly feel like the biggest idiot out there. You can call me whatever you want. I'm kicking myself for it. We've bought cars in the past, and it is all part of the journey. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not always as dramatic as we might make out. So we've had some really shitty cars where they've needed a lot of work. Parts have been really bad, things just haven't been what they are, and to be honest, some of the costs can be really expensive. Luckily, I know people and I get a lot of support from other people, so I've known mechanics, I know people who do a little bit more when it comes to like in-depth mapping or diagnostics. We've got Tony Banks always on board to make us exhausts. We do all right, and the reality is if I didn't know these people, then none of these cars that we build would be any good, because I wouldn't be able to do that on my own, and that's the reality. And I think sometimes I feel like I'm taking the piss a little bit because I'm giving our people a lot of problematic jobs. But, you know, I make sure everyone's sorted out. I never take the mick with prices. I don't want discount. I've always said this. I don't think you should ever ask your mate for a discount. I think when people ask mates for discount, or they want a deal from someone you know really close, you're not really supporting them in the business. And I think this is why we get on with a lot of the guys we work with, because I don't take the mick and I'll always give them more, and I will push them for the work. You know, I mean, at the minute I've got Nick from Genome working on my Porsche, and he's doing a lot of work on it. And it's part of a business collaboration we've had together, but this is time that he's taking out to do that car, not particularly earning him any profit. And I appreciate what he's doing on that. There is things we've done. We've bought parts off him. I'm buying some more parts off him now. We've just agreed to do some more work on the Porsche, ready for a big YouTube video that's coming up with Driven Plus. And I kind of get all that, but this car isn't a video that I honestly expected to be doing a video on. And I'm going to run through why we are doing this video, because to be honest, I've been completely shafted by someone who I believed everything they said. And I still actually believe he was very genuine in most ways, but it's just not great. And I'm not going to name and shame. The guy is local. He was actually really nice. He told me from the beginning. So let's start from the beginning, I suppose. When I went to view the car, the advert didn't say anything about it smoking or anything like that. But when I went to view it, he did tell me the car smokes a lot. It's excessive, and I mean excessive. And we started it up. It filled his unit up. It stank. It was really bad. But I was still toying with the idea of the car. I'm going to blame Jay a little bit. So Jay, when you're watching, I'm going to blame you, because you egged me into buying this, because I'd actually talked myself out of it, and you were like, just buy it and build it. It's going to be amazing. So I did. So it's your fault, Jay. You know, just because you've got a nice Nürburgring that works. But we bought the car. He dropped it off. He brought me a spare turbo, which was really nice of him. We drove it straight away, and a water pipe fell off. It just happens. It shouldn't happen, but it happens. It wasn't an issue. I asked him if he had a spare clip, and he actually brought me a full water pipe. When we looked underneath, we realised that the radiator pipe clip had just come off because it hadn't been put back on properly, and that's all it was. So it wasn't really a problem. Drove it for a couple of days. Just stank. Smoke everywhere, constantly smoking, never ever cleared up. Injectors and like the spark plugs were getting oil in them. It were bad. We steam cleaned the whole engine to try and find the fault. I've then found someone on Facebook, which I'm going to say is incredibly amazing guy. He's so honest, so genuine, and he knows these cars inside and out, and his work is perfection. And I mean perfection. I will put his Facebook on it. It's not a business page, it's his personal page. He doesn't have a business page. So I'm going to put his personal details into the link underneath this YouTube video, because I think people should be contacting him if you've got an Astra Corsa VXR or something similar, because this guy honestly, he doesn't take the piss. He's kept me updated constantly, which is how I work with my clients. And he's told me everything about what he's doing, what he's replacing, what he's found. And he's been so honest and so genuine about every single thing on this car. And we thought we'd nailed it. Unfortunately, it still smokes. When you start this car up, a load of black smoke does come out the back. It does clear and then it stops, and it only does it on initial startup when it's cold, and then when you drive it, it's perfectly fine. So this is another part of the story. I'm not sure where we're going to go with it, to be totally honest with you. And obviously my tone of voice on this one, I'm pretty negative. I really wanted to build this car. I wanted to build something pretty just quick, like the Astra. I enjoy that. I want to take it to shows and events. I want the Astra J to kind of be noticed and seen and be really clean. I'm not too worried about it being a powerful car. This, I kind of wanted to go a little bit silly. And these obviously are much faster than the Astra because of the weight and the more nimble, and you can have some real fun in these, but it kind of has, I don't know, it's kind of, it's put a bit of a downer on the car. I'm going to show you in this video now some of the things I've been sent about this car and why I know we've just been stung, and I know why it's just not a genuine car like someone said. And that's because things like, I'm probably going to have to get my phone, to be fair, to remember all this, but there's things like different intercooler pipes not fastened on properly, different boost solenoids and actuator valves not from this car and just bodged on, and some of them we found that had actually been where they'd broke and the valve sensors had been glued back on, but that doesn't work obviously. We found one of the radiator pipes, or I think a water pipe, that had been joined in 4 places on underneath the back of the engine, which doesn't, just change the hose. It's like whoever's done that, and I'm not saying that's the guy I bought the car off, I really don't know. What I can say is this car at some point had a lot of love. Someone actually give a damn. It had a Remus exhaust on it. It had an AirTech, it has an AirTech intercooler, and it had a Ram air intake on it, and it also had a turbo smart actuator. So someone spent money on this car and wanted it to be right. After that particular owner, which I believe was the guy I got it from, and then the guy before that, it's just been butchered. So the guy I got this off told me he was told it had a new turbo and it was smoking. So he's took the head apart and he's put new new rings inside it basically. So he's basically dealt with like the piston side of things, and he put it back together and it still smoked. He was then annoyed with himself because he said he thinks the valve stem seals is what's actually gone, but he could have done them while he had the head off to do the ring clearance and so on, and he didn't do them. And I generally believed him, and I still kind of believe him, but at the same time, I'm now at the point where, like, why didn't you just do them anyway? Like, you've had all the kit there. He showed me he had the kit there. Why didn't you just do it for the sake of doing it when you were already there? It'd be like washing a full load of clothing and leaving one shirt out just because you couldn't be bothered to get it. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Anyway, John Jr., which is a guy I'm going to tag, has basically done so much work on this engine. So he's done the valve stem seals, he's shown me how bad they were, and he's completely changed them all, and they were absolutely brittle, covered in oil, and it was a mess. He's taken the front bumper off, and he's taken every single hose and boost pipe and the intercooler off, which wasn't even fastened on properly either. He's found a sensor at the back of the car which had worn through because things hadn't been fastened correctly and there was movement and it had worn through. He's found a boost solenoid and an actuator valve that weren't the right ones, and they've just been bodged, and changed those. He's changed all the... I'll show you, I'm going to put the pictures in anyway, so you're going to see this as we go, but he's changed all the sensors and all the little valves and pretty much every single hose or piece of silicone in the car, because everything was just an absolute mess. So he's changed all these, he's changed every single bit on this turbo. He's realised that this wasn't even fastened on because there was a bolt missing. When he's actually took the side off, one of the cams wasn't even fastened in, it was hand tight. So the guy I've got it off, when you've put the head back on, you haven't even torqued the bolt up, you've just put it on by finger tight. That could have just come off and completely shit the engine. And it's things like that that, you know, Junior's found, and I wouldn't have noticed. And to be honest, this could have been a real catastrophic issue. So he's changed the turbo. The turbo that was on it, the blades were knackered, as you'll see now. The blades were absolutely knackered. He's then realised that the spare turbo he had was fine, but the actual snail housing wasn't fine. That had a problem. So what he's done is he's basically made one good turbo out of two, and it now boosts. What we've also realised is the actuator, the Turbo Smart actuator that was on there, was knackered, or he wasn't off this car and he couldn't get it set up right, and he believes it's off an Astra VXR because it was too long, but it was covered in oil and it killed itself because of that. So he's put a second-hand actuator on and fixed the actuator. He's fixed various little pipes down here. He's taken all the intercooler and all the pipes off, and he's fully cleaned them out because of the amount of oil that were in them. So he's basically stripped the car, completely rebuilt it, and it works absolutely perfect. But unfortunately, we started it back up this morning and it smoked again. And it did clear very quickly, and it doesn't smoke when you're driving, and it also doesn't continue to smoke once you turn it back on again. However, it does smoke when you first start up. And he believes that I think he said it's to do with the way the rings are on the valves and so on, basically, may not be set correctly, or the gapping might be wrong. So the only option really on this car to get rid of that bit of smoke, if I want it to be perfect, and in all fairness, from the sounds of it, it means I could run this for years to come with no problems, because the tiny bit of oil just gets rid straight away and it doesn't work while actually running. But the real proper way of fixing this obviously would be to strip the head completely, take the piston rings out and refit them and set them all properly all over again, or even just check if they are right. Now, he's done a bore scope, he's done all these other things that I do understand, but I don't really understand. And he can't find any real issues with it, but he really is an expert, and he honestly believes to do it to his level, which is like me doing jobs in here to my level, I want them to be done perfect without cutting corners. So the option is take the engine out, forge the engine, completely rebuild it based on that, and make this an absolute weapon of a car. And that's where I'm kind of borderline. I want to do that, and I said I was going to do that last night, but I've woke up this morning, started the car to move it, smoke came out, and I've just don't know if I can be bothered. I just don't know if I can be bothered. I've got £3,000 in this car, which isn't a lot if I'm totally honest. It is a lot and it isn't. You can buy a Corsa VXR for 1,800 quid. Loads of them are 1,800 quid or that sort of area, £2,000. They're not facelift. The arches are completely knackered, where this has only just started to go and it's minor, and I'm going to get it done anyway. They're not in this condition as a car. They don't have these wheels. The seats can be knackered on them, this one isn't, and I think the more the fact of this is a 13 plate or a 63 plate, merely borderline 14 facelift, this was a better value car than any of those. Your next step's going on to like a Nürburg edition or something, and you're paying about £4,000, and you still could have that problem, because let's be honest, we all know that VXRs have issues. Piston 4's a fault. A lot of people, this is what I've learned from this guy, a lot of people think the way the air comes in here from the throttle body and goes across is the reason why piston 4 fails. And apparently it's nothing to do with that. Everyone thinks that, and it's a myth. And a lot of guys are told that and then told it on and on and on. And it's a Chinese whisper. It's got absolutely nothing to do with that. It's to do with a valve that's under here, which is a one-way valve. And they fail. And that causes blowback on it. And he also found that ours had failed. And he replaced that as well for us. So we're not really going to have the piston 4 issue. I have ordered I think the 399, 395 injectors, because apparently they help with the fueling, because these are pretty much maxed out already. So with this being a stage 1 car, it's kind of safe to put the better injectors in. So I've actually ordered them anyway. But I'm at £3,000, well, I'm at about 3,100 in this car. And I could drive it every day as a daily, just get to work and back. And then if it craps itself in a couple of years, I'm really not bothered. And that's kind of, I think, where I might be with it. I do want to build the engine. I do want to make it a 400 brake horsepower car. I want to put the Nürburgring brakes on it because they're the Brembos, and I've nearly got a set of those. I've actually spoke to 2 people about, and truthfully, I really want to do that. But do I double my money in a car that's actually starting to bother me now? And the reality is I don't think I do. I think I either run it or I put it for sale, break even, and I speak to Junior about buying a car that he's already built or forged. He actually has a VXR Racing available. I don't want it because I want the facelift. I prefer the lights and the grille on this, but maybe that's an option, to buy a car that he's already worked on, that he has for sale. If anybody's interested in one, he has actually got a VXR Racing that's fully forged. Amazing build, and he only wants $3,500 for it. It is on Facebook, I believe. It's also on his Facebook page, which is what I said I'll tag you in. But as you can see, all the things I'm throwing into this video and the clips I'm putting up and what's wrong with the car and how bad everything is, I've been stung, and I'm getting bored of it. I'm actually it's kind of putting me down on buying cars anymore. These were supposed to be for fun. I know I own a Porsche. I know we've got cars worth 10 times the price, total 10 times the price. But these are a bit of fun. I love hot hatches. I really, really do love I love the Astra J VXR. I hated them when they first came out, but that's one of my best things I've bought. I love it to bits. It's so nice to drive. The seats are incredible. The whole car feels solid. I love it. But these are about enjoyment. These are about me and the guys we sponsor and some of our clients coming in and kind of having a lot of fun with these cars, building them, going out for days out, just kind of messing about and going to the car events and the shows and just having real fun. And this is kind of just made me not want to bother. So the reality is, we've been stung with a car. I do believe the guy's comments and what he told me most of the time, and he really did seem genuine. I don't think he was trying to shaft me over, but the reality is the work that's been done on this car is shocking, whoever that is. Now, I know he's had bits off the head because he's told me about that, so some of these things are things he hasn't fastened together, that's the truth. I'm not going to go back to him, I'm not going to comment, I can't be asked with any aggro or grief. I think it's a bit shit, I'm not impressed. But I don't know, guys. Where do we go? Do you want to buy an Astra VXR that you know is actually a really good car? But truthfully, if you want to make it perfect, it needs work. It's probably a better engine, I've been told, than 95% of the VXRs that are for sale out there because they've all had their heads kicked in, the condition of the cars aren't as good, and this engine will probably outlast them. Or do I keep it and do I go all out with Junior and get him to forge it and build it and have this car to the level of work and the quality of work that he wants and also I want? And the reality is, me and him, I do feel we're very similar. We're very perfectionist and a little bit ADHD when it comes to what we do on cars, and that makes us good at what it makes me good at what I'm doing. It definitely makes him good at what he's doing because honestly, that guy is clever. The stuff I've seen is insane. So the reality is, guys, for a really negative YouTube video on a car that just, I don't even know. I'm really stuck. I don't know what to do with it. I want to drive it. I want to actually go out in it today and have a play in it, but because I really want to drive this car, but I don't know if I can be bothered anymore. So what do we do? Do we sell it? Do we do it up? Or do we just run it as it is? Let us know in the comments, guys. Give us some feedback. Go on social media and have a look at the rest of the posts that we're going to be putting up about this car and the things we've found and the things we've done. And just let us know what you think to the quality of work and the things that Junior found on this car, and really, should they have been there?